Begin. Daf Ayin Gimel Amud Bet. Let's just mute the background. Amen. Thank you. Daf Ayin Gimel Amud Bet 73b. Here we go. Bogeret. So a Bogeret, we know, is a woman that's over age 12 and a half. So over here by Bogeret, let's say the case was a Bogeret, and a Bogeret that gets married. Now, we've been talking about this is the Perek Nara Me'urasa, a girl who's a Me'urasa, the first stage of marriage. And we said that when it leaves that state of marriage, you have the husband and the father that have to come together to get rid of her Nedarim. Once she gets married fully, then it's just the husband. Even if the girl's a Bogeret, now for the whole life, when she makes a Neder, the husband can get rid of the Neder. Okay. Now, let's say, back in the day, it was 12 months, generally, between Irusin and Nisuin. So, there was during that 12 months where there was the father and the husband together. Now, let's say the girl now became a Bogeret, let's say during those 12 months. She became a Bogeret. Now, what we're going to see is that, let's read it. So, Bogeret Shata Yud Bet Chodesh, she waited the 12 months, the 12 months ready for a marriage. And also, Ve'almana Lamed Yom, and let's say a widow 30 days. And when you are marrying now a widow, it wasn't that 12 months to get her. She was already married before, and so it's just 30 days to prepare her to get ready for the wedding. So, let's say that time already passed, and they didn't get married yet. They didn't do the nisuin. For whatever reason. He got stuck, the caterer wasn't ready, whatever it was. 12 months came, or 30 days came for the almana, and they didn't get married yet. They're going to get married. The wedding's not off. They're going to get married a week later, whatever it is. They didn't get married yet. Rabbi Eliezer Omer, Ho'il u'ba'ala chayav b'mezenotea yafer. We learned this earlier in Daf Ayin. We learned this in Ketubot, the mezonot. Since a husband is already chayav in the mezonot, because it's already a year's gone by, the halakha is he's chayav to already start giving her food. Since he's already chayav in mezonot, says Rabbi Eliezer yafer, he also has the ability to get rid of the nedarim at that time as well. They didn't get married yet fully. Nevertheless, he could do hafarat nedarim.
By himself, right?
By himself, yes. Chachamim say, En haba mefer ad shtikanes lishuto. A husband does not mefer until she comes into his domain, until they're fully married. So that's the machloket Rabbi Eliezer and Chachamim. Okay. Let's look at the Ran. The second Ran, Ho'il. Ho'ilu ba'ala chayav b'mezenotea. K'nitan perek afapi, look, you learned in Masach Ketubot, Tenodin lebetula yud bel chodesh, ulachar mikan, chayav b'mezenotea. After that time, you're chayav in the mezonot. K'nitanan higia zman velo nis'u, ochlot mishelo, as we said over there, if the time came and they did not get married fully yet, then she eats from him. Yafer levado, belo shutfute de'av. He could get rid of the neder on his own without the partnership of the father. Chachamim omrim, the Ran over here tells us an interesting fact. Chachamim say, Hainu Rabbi Yehoshua. The Chachamim in this Mishnah is Rabbi Yehoshua. Dehu bar plukte de Rabbi Eliezer bechol duchta. He is the one that argues on Rabbi Eliezer in all places. In all of Shas, whenever Rabbi Eliezer argues against Chachamim, that means that's Rabbi Yehoshua. Okay? An interesting fact.
Nice friendship.
Huh?
Nice friendship.
Yeah, good friendship, exactly. And the next run, until she comes into his possession, into his domain. What does that mean? Until she comes to the chuppah. Okay. So that's a machloket. When the 12 months arrive and they didn't get married yet, can he do hafarat nedarim or not? Rabbi Eliezer says yes. Chachamim say no. Says the Gemara. Amar Rabbah, says Rabbah. Rabbi Eliezer, Umishna Rishona Amru Davar Echad. Rabbi Eliezer, and the first Mishnah, Mishnah Rishona, this is a quote from a Mishnah, also Ketuvot, they're saying the same thing. So the Gemara says, what's the Mishnah Rishona? And what's the same thing of Rabbi Eliezer? Ditnan, it says in the Mishnah, Notnim the Betula Yud Bet Chodesh Lefarnes Atzma. We give the Betula 12 months for her to, she has to take care of her own parnasa at that time, and to get ready for the wedding. Higia Yud Bet Chodesh, if the 12-month arrived, and then I get married yet, Ochlot Mishelo, Ve'ochlot Bitruma, she eats from him, and she could even eat truma. She's married a Kohen. She's not a Kohen. She's married a Kohen. She could already start eating truma. She could already start eating a truma. The Mishnah continues there. Aval hayavam eno machir bitruma. The yavam does not feed her truma until they actually get married. So here the yavam is a case where, let's say, a lady is for an irusin with Reuven. Reuven dies during Irusin. Obviously, they have no kids. Now Shimon is the Yavam and takes over. So let's just say it's a 12-month thing. Let's say that she's getting ready for the wedding for 6 months, and then the guy dies. So now the Yavam takes over. Shimon takes over. Logically, for the next 6 months, till that should be enough time for them to get married. But now she's in the domain of the Yavam. And now let's say the year comes and goes. And it's been a week after the year, a day after the year. She wants parnasa. It does not come from the yavam. And there's a pasuk, we'll see it in the run, that kaspo. It has to. It's kinyan kaspo. Amar Rachmana v'hai kinyan de'achiv. She is kinyan kaspo, meaning he acquired her with his money. He did the kiddushin to her, and therefore, when it comes the time of the year, but they didn't get married yet, he has to give parnasa. But the yavam is coming from the strength of his brother, and therefore he doesn't have to give parnasa until they actually get married. Okay, so back to the Mishnah. She eats from him, and she eats teruma. The yavam does not feed teruma. If she does 6 months in front of the husband, 6 months in front of the yavam, the guy, husband died, and now the brother's taking over. 6 months in front of him, 6 months in front of him. Or the entire year minus 1 day in front of the husband. I mean, the husband dies the day before his wedding. That's what's going on over here, or the day before the 12 months. And then the Yavam steps in, and now she says, oh, now it's a year. Yavam, start giving me food. Still no. Or the guy died a day after the Irusin, and now it's almost a whole year in front of the Yavam. Doesn't matter. She does not need teruma in the case of a Yavam situation. But if it's not a case of a Yavam situation, Higia Yud Bechodesh, she does eat teruma. Zo Mishnah Rishona, says the Gemara, this is the first Mishnah, which means this goes like Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer says after 12 months she eats from him. So it's over here we see, after 12 months, she eats from him, she eats teruma. And Rabbi Eliezer says after 12 months he could do Hafar and Nedarim. So we're comparing over here eating teruma to Hafar and Nedarim. Okay. Says the Gemara, Bedin shel acharehem amru. The other Bedin said, En ha'isha ochelet b'teruma ad shetikanes lechuppah. That she does not eat teruma until she goes to the chuppah. That's the Chachamim. So Gemara starts. This Gemara is basically saying that Rabbi Eliezer is not alone. Rabbah starts saying that Rabbi Eliezer is not alone. Rabbi Eliezer has a Mishnah to go with him. It's a Mishnah that has to do with teruma. We're comparing. The Gemara now is comparing Nedarim to teruma. Just like by Nedarim after 12 months, he could get rid of the Neder even though they're not married. So too, because we see that by Teruma, after 12 months, even though they're not married, he starts feeding her Teruma. And both are Deoraita cases. The Nedarim is Mideoraita, that a husband gets rid of his wife's Neder, and he could even start now earlier here. So we see we could go earlier before the chuppah, even in a Torah case. In the case of Teruma as well, of course, is Mideoraita, only Kohanim could have it, or only wives of Kohanim, etc. We're extending it over here. Even though they don't go into the chuppah yet, she could eat Teruma. That's according to Rabbi Eliezer, that's a Mishnah like Rabbi Eliezer at this point. Okay. Let's see the run. Look at the run where we left off, the beginning of the Gemara. Rabbi Eliezer, Mishnah Rishona Amud Davar Echad. Rabbi Eliezer and the Mishnah Rishona said the same thing. When it comes the time for her to get married, but she didn't get married yet, meaning the 12 months came and went and she didn't get married, since the husband is obligated in the mizanot, she is like a nisua for certain things. She's like a nisua for certain things. Even though she's not yet in her husband's house. Rabbi Eliezer had the Amran, the Amran Ba'ala mefer nedareha, be'lo shutuf tedav. Okay, that's the Rabbi Eliezer that we saw in our Mishnah. The next Ran, Hayavam eno machi b'tshuma, k'di yafina hatam b'perek avapi, the kinyan kaspo amar Rachmana. A person has to give his wife after 12 months because it's kinyan kaspo, he acquired her with his money. V'hai kinyan de'achiv, but a Yavam doesn't have to because he's coming from the acquirement from the brother. Okay. Yehuda, how are you?
I'm sorry, I couldn't make it.
It's okay. We are in Ein Gimel Amud Bet. We're already about 3/4 down, but we are right now in the run, and we're about to mention a run at the start of the middle-sized lines. There's Enken Dat Rabbeinu Tam. I'll just speak this one out where there's a Machloket Rashi and Rabbeinu Tam that the run brings down. That 1 second. Yeah, so let's I'll speak at the machloket where we saw a case over here where she was the entire year minus a day, let's say with a Baal, and then the Yavam steps in the last day of the year. So the Yavam does not feed her teruma. It doesn't feed her. So what if she spent 12 months with the Yavam, with the Baal? 12 months with the Baal, then he dies. And the wedding again is scheduled a week after. He's supposed to give her already at 12 months. He's full 12 months with her. 12 months and a week even he's with her. 12 months and 3 days he's with her. Then he dies. Then the Yavam takes over. So the Gemara talks about, that it was quoting a Mishnah, is saying the whole thing is 12 months minus a day. Or 1 day with the Baal and the rest of the year. So mashma, if you have 12 months fully under the Baal, the Yavam still has to pay. Rashi says no. If it's 12 months under the Baal, 12 months under the Baal, 12 months under the Baal, even though it's 12 months under the Baal, the Yavam doesn't have to pay. Rabbeinu Tam argues and says no. If it's 12 months under the Baal, that's it. Now the Baal has to pay. So the Yavam would have to pay in that case because he's taking over his brother. That's Rabbeinu Tam goes, and it seems like the Ran goes with that.
But does he need to marry her right away because the 12 months is finished, or like he waits for the Avel to finish?
Like a year of Avelut? Not his brother, and it was 30 days.
Husband.
So you're asking a question in general with Avelut question as far
nothing
as
to do with
how long do you have to wait? So I think technically it's just 7 days, technically, because it's a famous Gemara at the beginning of Masech Ketubot, which we did, where you have because once it's Avelut starts, then those 7 days are Avelut, so you can't get married during. And also the opposite, once a wedding starts, then it's 7 days Sheva Brachot, and you can't do Avilu till later. So let's say Chatan and Kala, they get married, and then the next day his father passes away, Lo Alenu. They bury him, but the 7 days of Shiva start after 7 days of Sheva Brachot.
Wow.
7 days Sheva Brachot, then 7 days of Shiva. Just like how it is on a Chag. If someone passes away during Chag, so buried Chol Moed, so the Shiva only starts after Chag, because Chag already started. Chag is different than Sheva Brachot because the working and whatever. So
Also, you can decide when you're gonna marry, but you cannot decide when the Chag is.
exactly. So once the Chag comes in, so if a person dies and is buried before the Chag ends the Shiva. Yeah, but if they're buried on Chol Moed, then the Shiva is going to start afterwards.
There's no issue with the waiting 3 months.
Yeah,
You're
so
saying
for
for what?
widow, it's a widow.
Oh, you're saying for Havchana, for the Yavam. No, good point. Yeah, good point.
You said
Yeah,
7
there's
days,
also-
but then after the 7
Yeah,
days,
you're right,
still
there's
it can
a-
be
yeah,
a
yeah.
possibility.
You're
And
right, it
then
has
the
to be
Yavam
3
is not
months.
even a Yavam anymore. It's something, who knows, right?
What do you mean if?
No, if she does have a child within that.
Oh yeah,
I
if
mean,
we find out she's pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I told you a case when we were doing Yevamot. A cousin of mine, my dad's first cousin, his son, so him and me are second cousins. We were in yeshiva together in Israel and everything. He was so young, he was so fast. He went to the hospital on Wednesday, and I think it was Sunday that he passed away. Just wasn't feeling. They found out later that he had a very late stage of very rare form of leukemia or something. And they just got married. We thought for sure it's a case of Yibum. But literally it was like the day before they went to the hospital, he found out, he was aware that she was pregnant, their first child. And then so she was pregnant. So it was crazy, yeah. Well,
They named the son.
So it was a daughter,
Oh,
and they named the daughter, his name was Yehuda, they named her Yehudit. Yeah. Very sad. That's terrible. And when we were in yeshiva the year before he got married, he was always sick again. Like in a way, like, hey, you feel bad. But then he was like, yeshiva boy, come on, you're sick again. You're in your dorm all day. He didn't know that he didn't know himself that what he had, right? It was, and then he was kind of better, and then he got engaged and married, and I think maybe like, oh, sick here, a little sick there, and then it was a time, it was like he couldn't, and he had to go to the hospital. Maybe he went to the hospital in between, but it was a time like he went on a Wednesday, and then on Shabbat they flew him by helicopter from a hospital in Lakewood to he was living in Lakewood to Manhattan. And that was it. And then once it's Shabbat, his family came in, Toronto from whatever, and then Sunday night or something like that passed away. Yeah. Okay. So. Okay, so we brought this Mishnah as a proof to and now the reasoning also, the Ran brings down the reasoning, if you remember, why is it that a Kala does not eat teruma until she tikanes the chuppah? Why not during Irusin? And the truth is, we're going to see in a moment, it's actually midirabanan that she does not eat teruma until the chuppah. Midoraita she does already from Irusin. Midirabanan we said no. The reason is 2 reasons. One is she's not living at home yet with him, so she's going to get teruma from the husband. We're afraid she might come home, bring home teruma, and she's going to feed her brothers that are Israeli teruma. Or the second reason is that Chas v'shalom, we don't know. He could still, like, he didn't marry her yet fully. He could break it off, and he could find something he doesn't like with her, whatever it is. He could break it off. And what's going to happen is she ate teruma illegally. So therefore, we wait till the chuppah, wait till fully married. That's anyways the psak. Okay, so we bring this as a proof to Rabbi Eliezer. Says the Gemara, Amar le Abaye, 3, 6, 8 lines up from the bottom. Amar le Abaye. Abaye tells Rabbah, Dilma lohi, maybe it's not as so. Meaning you just compared Hafarat Nedarim in our Mishnah to eating teruma. after the 12 months, you could do hafara. After 12 months, you could eat teruma. You made that comparison for Rabbi Eliezer. Says Abaye, maybe it's not so. And this is a common thing in the Gemara where we say maybe it's not like this, maybe it's not like this. Ad kan loka ashmeinan mishnah rishona ela lamecha b'tshuma derabanan aval nedarim deoraita emalo. So on the one hand, we're saying like this. Ad kan loka ashmeinan mishnah rishona. The mishnah rishona was teaching us regarding teruma miderabanan. Because teruma deoraita, as I just mentioned, you're allowed to eat teruma right from erusin. Miderabanan, we said no. So therefore, maybe like this. Maybe the Mishnah that says after 12 months, you can now feed her teruma. Now, like I say, Yavam. Yavam was a side point in the Mishnah. But a regular case of a regular Kohen, and it's 12 months have passed. Now he has to feed his wife teruma, according to that Mishnah. So says the Gemara over here, you cannot compare that to the Hafar Nedarim in our Mishnah here. Because maybe you could say that after 12 months, we're going back to the Deoraita. Because we're going back to the regular halacha that you're allowed to eat teruma after Irusin. Aval Nedarim Deoraita, emalo, but Nedarim is always Deoraita that a husband can only mefer when they're actually married. So you want to consider this like somewhat married after the 12 months? You say, no, you can't compare it to teruma. Because teruma really, it's the teruma derabanan, because really, midoraita, you're allowed to eat it. So there's not a comparison. And now the Gemara brings a flip side comparison. Ve'ad kan lo shamat le'Rabbi Eliezer ela gabe nedarim. And another thing is, maybe you could say that only Rabbi Eliezer would agree to this law that you could start do hafara nedarim after the 12 months only by nedarim. Kedei Rav Pinchas mishmei derava, like Rav Pinchas in the name of Rava. The Amar, who said, Kol hanoderet al dat ba'ala hinoderet. When a woman makes a neder, she's doing a neder based on her husband. She has her husband in mind. We'll explain in a moment. About teruma, afilu miderabanan nami lo achla. But teruma, even miderabanan teruma, maybe we're not going to eat. Now let's flip it the other side, says the Gemara. The Gemara says like this. You want to compare Rabbi Eliezer for Afaran Nedarim and Mishnah to the case of teruma? Rabbi Eliezer is going to say like this. The only reason why Rabbi Eliezer would agree that after 12 months you could do hafar nedarim is because of a statement of Rav Pinchas in the name of Rava. Rav Pinchas in the name of Rava says that when a woman makes a neder, she's doing it with her husband in mind. Now, I'm not going to eat meat anymore. She takes, what does she take into consideration? When a lady's single, she's single. She doesn't have it on her mind of her parents. She makes a neder. But when a person is married, then when they make a neder, they know it's going to affect their husband, or it's going to affect the family, so they have that in mind. So maybe the Eliezer is saying like this: when a woman is after 12 months, she's supposed to be married. She's getting married very soon. She's supposed to get married already now. She has her husband in mind when she makes the neder, and therefore, if she has her husband in mind when she makes the neder, the husband therefore has the ability to get rid of the neder also, because the husband plays a role in her neder at that point. So that Rabbi Eliezer would say. But Rabbi Eliezer would say, though, by teruma, don't compare it to teruma, because maybe Rabbi Eliezer would say, even by teruma derabanan, I would say she still can't eat it until they actually go to the chuppah. So the Gemara is saying from two sides how we cannot compare Rabbi Eliezer of our Mishnah of Hafar Nedarim to the case of teruma. That's what our Gemara is doing over here. And the truth is that anyways, it seems that we paskin like the Chachamim, which is you can't until they actually go lirshuto, until they actually become married. I knew it was going to be on the shorter side today. There is a run at the bottom, just before that. Oh, so the Ran says like this, that in our first explanation, we said that there's no comparison to the Mishnah Rishonah. Mishnah Rishonah by teruma, we said that you could eat teruma after 12 months, because anyways it was deoraita, you were allowed to. Just in Nedarim, we said no, after 12 months, we said you could eat it. So now, hold on a second, we have to address what we spoke about before. We spoke about that in general, a woman doesn't, I mean, why did the Rabbanan institute that she shouldn't eat teruma? Because she might feed her siblings, or he might end up breaking it with her. So, why now does it change? So after 12 months, so the Ran says that he has to designate for her like a home. It wasn't just like 12 months, like, okay, I'm waiting for the wedding. It was somewhat, he designated for a home. So therefore, it wasn't the case of her, it wasn't a worry of her going to the brothers. And second is that we assume that by then, after 12 months, being together, kind of, not really being together, meaning, but like 12 months they're about to get married, we assume that by that point, he's already checked her out, that he's not gonna break it, because that's the other worry. So therefore, those two reasons are put to the side. Those two issues are put to the side. And the Ran at the bottom, let's read that Ran that I just spoke of, and then we'll read the one at the bottom. Amar le Abaye. It's 7 lines down or so in the widest of lines from the top of the wide lines. Amar le Abaye. Amar le Abaye. B'dilma lohi. Ad kan lo ashmoina na Mishnah Rishona ela lemecha b'truma derabana mishum tekeva de Medina. Since according to the law, arusa ochelet b'truma. Arusa does eat teruma according to halacha. The Rabbanan de gazur. The Rabbanan made a gzera that she shouldn't eat. Mishum simfon, because they might find something in her that he doesn't like. Or mishum shema tashke kol shechayav mezonoteh. She might come and give to drink everyone that's obligated in her mezonot. She's going to give her brothers, her father. So here, now, after 12 months have gone by, and now we could feed her teruma. We're not worried about that. Vishari, it's allowed. Why? The mishum simfon, because of maybe he's going to break it with her, and he might find something wrong with her. Leika lamikmi, the yav la mezonot, badik la yedek krovot. So what's going to happen is that it's not going to. We're not worried he's going to break things off, because also it's 12 months, but 12 months they didn't really see each other. They got engaged already. They had the first. So, but now they has to give her mezonot. He sends the mezonot with his cousins, with his family. They see her again, and they give back reports. So if it would have been a situation that he wanted to break it, he would have broke it. But now they give good reports. Meaning the fact that they see on the outside that if everything's okay, that's considered okay, and therefore they report back, and they report, no, she's still good, she's this. So he's not breaking it off. The fact that maybe she's going to drink, give the drink to her siblings, we're also not worried. They came at the iu mifarnesla, now that he is the one that has to give her parnasa, he reserves for her a spot, a place, a house, and therefore she's not going to go back home. Aval nedarim, the deoraita, but nedarim that's deoraita, and arus mefer, and arus does not get rid of the neder even after he's obligated to give her mezonot. And say that they're not even able until unless there's the partnership with the father. Okay. So the Ran brings down an interesting point, the last Ran on the page. We could learn from here. Demi shenadar al dat chavero, hareze yachol lehatir nidro, shelo al pi chacham. So the Ran points out like this, that from the words of Rabbi Pinchas in the Rava, he says, "Anoderet adat ba'ala inoderet." We said, what? After 12 months, she's supposed to be married. She's not married yet for whatever reason. She's supposed to be married. And therefore, why could we get rid of the neder? Why would Rabbi Eliezer say you could get rid of the neder? Because she's noder al dat ba'ala. I mean, she knows when she makes a neder, never ever meet again, she has her husband in mind. She has the husband in mind. Therefore, the husband has the right to get rid of the neder. Says the Ran, some want to learn from here. If a person makes a neder based on someone else in mind, then that someone else could get rid of the neder. Hafarat nedarim. It's like a new hafarat nedarim for a friend. Let's say I have in mind Nisim. So I'm making, like something al dat. I don't know if let's say Nisa went to a restaurant and I said I'm never coming to this restaurant again, but it has to do with you directly. So then maybe you can get rid of the neder. That's what someone will learn from here because it's al dat. It has that person in mind. So someone will learn that from here.
But it was a connection between the husband and the wife more than
A regular
the
person.
making a
Right, right. So the Ran is gonna knock this out. He says this is not something that we can learn from here, and because we only know Hafara Nedarim by a father and children, father and daughter, and husband and wife. There's no Hafara Nedarim for other people. Hatara Nedarim, go to Chacham, go to 3 Dayanim. But he says some people, the Ika, there are those the Yalfim that learn from here. The Mishnah Nadar al Dat Chavero. הרי זה יכול להתיר נדרו שלא על פי חכם, even without a חכם. תקייך דאמרין נחה, like we said over here, דמשום אחי מצי בא לכודי להפר משום דנדרה על דעתה. במפרש נמי על דעת חברו. So too, when that person does על דעת חברו, מצי מפר. דלא גרה, מפרש דחברו, מסתם בעל. דהיינו טעמה אחא, והתה משום Kenadar al Tanai Dami. It's like a neder al Tanai with a condition. I have this friend in mind, I have the husband in mind, no difference. Vezu etzli shigigat hora'a. But this, for me, is a mistaken psak halacha. It's mistaken. Al dat ba'ala, even though it says al dat ba'ala, filach yitzarich ba'al sheyafer be'oto lashon. Shekitzva la Torah. The husband has to get rid of the neder, like the way the Torah says it. It's a pasuk in the Torah. It's specifically for the husband, specifically for the father. And therefore, it's not everyone's equal. It's only a husband and only a father. And then it continues bringing proofs about this. So this not to extract that from here. Only a husband, only a father. Okay, Chazaku Baruch. We'll give you a little bit of time back today. And to enjoy we're talking about about Shalom Bayit stuff over here, so to enjoy to get home a little early.
Thank you very much.
For those that are home already can enjoy also at home. Yeah. Okay, guys. Chazaku Baruch. Have a good night, everyone.
Away from home.
It's gonna be tzvot. Chazak, guys. Bye.
I have an unrelated question.
Yeah.
If you wanna stop.